And that's the kind of situation it is, man. Like the reaching, that was on my legacy was like something that was out of this world. Like it was individuals that had way more than I had, and they was like literally just obsessed. They saw my potential, my style, they saw my innovation, you know what I'm saying? They saw all of that, and they was just really, really jealous. And so they was like nitpicking and just looking for like anything to try to have an excuse to silence my voice or to steal my aesthetics and my dynamics and to do things like that. And they had like corruption that helped them because they had connections to corruption because they all benefited from it. And because if they can get away with taking my dynamics and all that, and then they get paid off it, then they can give some of it to those who corruption connections and all that. So I mean, it's a crazy situation, but I mean, the point of this segment is to say, pretty much to put it into perspective. It's just like a situation where it's like, okay, it's like if I, you know what I'm saying, like if I type in an online search engine, and anybody, you know what I'm saying, and I'm using words, you know what I'm saying, like say if I got quotes, or I got poetry, or I got just thoughts, you know what I'm saying, if just those words in itself, like, okay, let's say if I ever, if there ever comes up a result that somebody ever said the word thought, you know what I'm saying, then I'm suing them forever. You know what I'm saying? I'm suing them for everything. If anybody ever said the word sometime, or everything, or day, or happiness, or joy, peace, anybody ever said the word I, then I can sue them for everything. You know what I'm saying? If I type it in my search engine and it ever come up, and then God forbid somebody of another racist has said it, another has said it since, you know what I'm saying, their false accusations or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I want to sue them for everything. You know what I'm saying? It's that simple. You know what I'm saying? Anybody ever said a word, you know what I'm saying, that's in the word, like anybody said the word was, you know what I'm saying, WAS. Anybody ever said the word, then, THEN. Anybody ever said these words right here, you know what I'm saying, other than, the objects of, or the conversation piece or the epicenter or the tool, you know what I'm saying, of a person or whatever, or concept that they used in order to facilitate framing stages of things for which they get paid off of, by the latter end of the result, then I can sue everybody involved in that forever. You know what I'm saying? If I find out, let me find out, you know what I'm saying, somebody ever used the word and, A-N-D, you know what I'm saying, before that, I'm suing them for everything they got. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of situation I can, because I mean, what? Let me find out somebody said the word what. You know what I'm saying? Anytime, what? Anytime before, anytime after, you know what I'm saying, their false accusation was, and anytime in that between the time when I used the word, you know what I'm saying, sue them for everything. And that shows you right there that's a crime scam. You know what I'm saying? So in a civil society, then they'll be the ones with the scrutiny, not the victim of this thing with, a preponderance, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's a situation. My writings, my art, my craft, my love, these things are cherished and valuable to me, priceless to me. But I mean, it will make no sense for anybody to be worried about it, as I'm harmless, glorifying God. But let me find out somebody said the word when, WHEN, or, saying, or somebody said or before, you know what I mean? I've sued them for everything, you know what I'm saying? Anything, you know what I'm saying, after the object or the subjects of their persecutions or their false accusations between that point in time of which I make a word, if anybody ever said anything like that in between that time period, you know what I'm saying, they're frauds. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the truth. And it's evident. Google, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna look it up, like, let me find out. You know what I'm saying? And then, I'm going ahead, and it should be all right. I can address that. I can express how I feel about, being wrongfully persecuted, you know what I'm saying, falsely as part of a long, not just racial hate crime scheme, but also, envy fueled by, influential figures that were trying to, make a benefit at my expense, make a profit off of me without my consent. That's not my fault. I didn't ask to be used. You know what I'm saying? But before I was even able to understand such a heavy type of evil, but yet they antagonize you even more and sabotage your life even more. And then, they don't realize that it's a whole lot of it's getting out of hand on the low key, like real. You You know what I'm saying? It's like, it ain't nobody there to render that kind of justice because society is in favor of it generally. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's parts of it that's in favor of the agenda of the Antichrist, which aligns into the scripture. That's why, because my testimony witness to God is Jesus, it's my stuff, man. It's things that me and Jesus Jesus was with me, and the Holy Spirit was there while these things happen. So that's why it's my witness of it, and God is my witness. It's my life, they don't have no reason to be bothering or interfering with my life, period. You know what I'm saying? It's false pretense and it's to cover up a crime that happened earlier before I even started writing. That was did against me, when I was way too young, you feel me? So, it's to cover up that, and that's the present that it trailed me. Like, it's weird. Like, I'm like, it ain't nothing. They destroyed, so I pretty much had no life, That was, it ended, you feel me? Things I went into, details about already. But, eyes open, though, Anybody who care about God and what's right, do you see clearly, It's definitely a declaration of war situation. The only thing is they declare war on God. You know what I'm saying? And so, me being a vessel in the earth, just following God, it ain't, you don't really have no army, to defend you and take up for you. So all this stuff happened and nobody stopped it. It happened all the way to the worst possible thing that can happen to a person happen. And it happened, so it's like, well, but situation like this, it tells you exactly why the revelations go play out like they are. So they know the cause and effect, and you can't fight God. You can't fight no supernatural God. He can do things that humans can't do. You know what I'm saying? There ain't no carnal weapons that will be able to harm God. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna get rough. God go get his people out the earth though. You know what I'm saying? Beforehand. So they can't, you know what I'm saying? So he go get them out the earth, with the first fruits, so but God go declare war, on Babylonia and all these things for situations like this. And then God, because then they'll see what happens when you declare war on God. You know what I'm saying? They declare war on God, but they don't see him doing nothing dramatic right now because of his mercy and his love and his kindness and long suffering, because that's who he is. But the time go come when God go declare war on the world, and then they're going to wish that everything they did never happened. They just comfortable, they got comfortable with profaning God, but it's coming, and not one thing go survive. When God unleashes his wrath on the earth, he go pour out his personal wrath on the earth, and certain places, people and things are no longer ever gonna exist from the foundations of the world. And the time will be worse than anything that ever happened in the world. It's in the Bible. That time when God declared war on the world, and it's coming, 100% guaranteed, It's going to be worse than anything that ever happened in the world. And there ain't nothing else that's ever going to happen in the world going to be as bad as it. So then society and humanity got an understanding of what's happening, why it's happening, and who doing it. And, that's God. And he made God his intellect too. God is wise. He has infinite wisdom, which is why God is long suffering and has been long suffering for a long time. Because compared to when his wrath is poured out on the earth, these times of peace can't compare to it. See, God just as intellectual, man. But man, that's the kind of situation. Like, it was been such an egregious persecution on my body of work. The thing I value most. That's the thing that the devil attacked most. Out of all things, that's the thing they got attacked, And so, and it got did without my knowledge. So it was like, when I found out, it'll bait me and it'll lure me, into certain realities or certain people. So it was did like this on purpose through the collective effort of high societies and places, people, power, and things that should not have been a factor in it. You know what I'm saying? So, it's 100% Antichrist, because they knew back then, just like now, that I followed Christ and I followed God. And I've been following God the whole time, even while these things was happening. So, And just like I'm getting caught up on, I'm pretty much, doing a recap on my literary works, my copyright innovation, ideas, aesthetics, quotations, things that I thought of, what I'm saying? And people can see for themselves, what I'm saying? And, see, aside from the biases, aside from the smear campaigns that have been proven, especially 2000, before 2016, it was proven. 2017, you seen these crimes. So I mean, that's what it is. A race crime. It's a supremacy fueled crime, and it was multifaceted. It was long running, and it was already present all my life before, I started writing literature. You know what I'm saying? And then they saw, my mom saw artists, I draw it. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things to my, it's a lot of parts to me they try to cover up and keep it on the low. So it better facilitates and accommodates their framing campaign. So basically, and that's another reason why they're taking sustainability, because it makes it easier for them to frame you. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole bunch of like injustice and then stuff that's connected with these jealous influences and stuff like that. So I mean, they had no mercy on my life when they seen I was a sheep. I mean, and still to this day, I didn't let them change me. What they did didn't change me. It just made me better.